In our previous video, we went through the various different tabs and panels that can be found in Adobe Encore. I also discussed the various types of formats, such as DVD, Blu-ray, and Flash, that Encore can produce. We also file imported some assets being video clips, and those video clips were originally AVI, but I took each one, selecting it, and went up to timeline, added new timeline, and transcoded that into a timeline format. Now you'll notice when you select a timeline, you'll see that they're all here at the bottom. Think of each timeline as a series of shots, hence making a chapter in a DVD. Now when we watch a DVD, typically a movie DVD, each chapter plays right after the next, and you wouldn't even know that there's a chapter there. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to make it so that it can go from one video to the other, but we'll also give the person an option. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up Adobe Photoshop. And while Adobe Photoshop is loading, I'm going to come over here to show you the library we have of different types of menus that you can find, preset menus, templates if you will, over here. Now you'll notice that we have the different filters, and I can see that this is depth menu. So if I like depth menu here, I can double click on that, and what that's going to do is pretty much pull the menu over here into my window, and it's also going to drop an icon over here that has a video attached to it. Now if you pick one that has a video attached to it, that means that the background is an actual movie clip that'll play when we preview this. Now at this point I'm not going to do that, but what you will see here is there's a title, and that's very important that you always give your DVD a title so that the end user knows what they're going to watch. Next, they have a series of questions, or I should say, what is perspective? It's all about focus, depth of field, 3D access and animation, rendering techniques. Okay, which is a really, it's sort of relevant to what we're doing in this course. Well, if you mouse over this, you'll see that the little icon turns to a button saying that these are text buttons, and you can actually select on them and see that they highlight. These are all individual layers in a Photoshop file, and the reason why I know that is if I select the word layers, it shows you all the individual layers that we have to work with, and each button is signified by a button in this menu. Now the word study of environments is not a menu, it's a title. So it doesn't have a button. It doesn't go anywhere. If you select on it, you'll notice you can't. But in this case, these are buttons, which is going to allow us to go in and set the location to which this button sends us, possibly to another video, to the end of a video, whatnot. So I'm showing you this because we're going to try to simulate something like this in Photoshop. And to do that, you'll notice here that when you open up the arrows, that we have designated buttons with a little plus sign in parentheses, and that tells Encore that what we've created was in fact a file going to be used in Encore. Now as a beginner, what I recommend is find a menu you like, and then when you right click on it, you notice that you have the option to edit menu in Photoshop. You can simply take this this menu into Photoshop, make changes to it, save it, and reopen it. That is the quick and easy way to actually make this work. Go ahead and show you how to make your basic menu. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out to Photoshop. I'm going to go to File, New, and I want to create a canvas that's 720 by 480 because that's the size of my screen. My DVD is going to output to 720 480. Now I can also go in and change my background to transparent. So I'm going to do that and hit OK. Now to signify the transparency, Photoshop uses the black and white checkerboard. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to put a video in that background during my menu. But I'm going to come out here and I'm going to create a text layer. And I'm going to simply go out here with my text tool, click, and I'm going to put scary movies. Now you can't see it because it's white, so I'm going to highlight, and I'm also going to go ahead and try to bold that. You know, it's not going to let me bold, but I am going to go ahead off to this layer, select, and I'm going to use my layer style of drop shadow. That's going to make it a little bit more intense so you can actually see it. And if this really isn't a lesson in Photoshop, it's more in using Photoshop to increase the professionalism of your movie. But here we go. I'm going to put my title, Scary Movies. Now I'm going to create another text layer. And this one's going to be a box. I'm just going to create this box. And I'm going to fill it with, we'll fill it with red. Dump that paint bucket in there. And I'm going to add a opacity. Now at this point it looks kind of pink, but remember we're going to have a video playing in our background. And when the video is playing, we want to be able to see through this and see the video playing in the background. Now I'm also going to duplicate that layer. And these are just to add some effects there. But I'm going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to go ahead and hold my shift key and just drop that down a little bit. Maybe go up a little bit like that. And I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to duplicate that layer one more time. And I'm going to go ahead and that looks about right. Now I'm going to select those three layers and merge them. Now what I want to do is go in and add some text telling the person what the buttons are going to lead to. Maybe I want to put a play all. Play all is very popular. That's going to play all the videos in a certain order, and I'm going to cut that down, and I'm going to probably change this to black just so that it can be seen over top of that red background. Next I'm going to come down here again, and maybe I'll put chapter select. And I can position those. And then maybe I'll want to do credits. Now you can choose whatever you want. You could have 35, 40 different menus. In fact, the chapter select is going to lead to a separate menu. I could go in and just say, since I have 4 videos, make the 4 videos available here. I could put video 1, 2, 3, and 4. But we'll work on using a chapter select, which is a neat feature. I can also go into each of my layers and put a drop shadow on there, which is going to add a little bit more professionalism. Got a layer styles, do a drop shadow. Okay, and then also do the play all. Alright, so now I'm going to save that, and I'm going to save it right as a PSD. And I'm going to save that right inside the folder I have on my desktop, Project 3 DVD. I'm going to call it menu. I'm going to call it Photoshop menu. And I'm going to hit save. Hit OK. Now we don't want to compress this out as a JPEG because we will lose the background. It'll fill it in with white, and we don't want that. We want this to stay layered. Now I'm going to go ahead and minimize Photoshop. Come over here to my Encore window, go File, Import as Menu. And I'm going to navigate to my desktop and open up Project 3 DVD and Photoshop menu. Okay, now it flashed real quick, and the reason why this is still up there, I can remove that menu. And I'm going to do that right now by clicking and hitting clear. Right-clicking and hitting clear. Now, when you look at this menu, it looks black, and that's because we're missing the video in the background. Now, in the next lesson, I'm going to go in and do a quick couple seconds of video footage. I'm going to take some of these projects. I'm going to make a quick 30-second clip that's going to be simply made for this video. When I do that, when we come back, I'm going to go File, Import, and bring that in and drop that in the background. And then I'm going to show you how to start linking these buttons to various menus or assets in your scene.